Russia protects Mexico. Mexico and Russia are defending the Gulf of Mexico from Donald Trump and his intentions to invade it and rename it the Gulf of America. Russia defends the Gulf of Mexico and responds to Trump. The Russian government has taken a prominent role as a defender of the historical and political value of the Gulf of Mexico, reacting strongly to Donald Trump's statements. The former U.S. president proposed changing the name of this iconic region, a proposal that many consider absurd. In response, Russia intervened to emphasize the historical, economic, and cultural importance of the Gulf as a central point in Latin America. Dmitry Medvedev, former Russian president and current deputy chairman of the Security Council, called these statements a geopolitical maneuver, lacking substance, reflecting the strategic decline of Washington. Russia has positioned itself as an unexpected ally of Mexico, reaffirming its stance against the unilateralism of the United States. The Gulf of Mexico controversy. Criticism of Trump. Medvedev quickly responded to Trump's statements, which generated a wave of criticism both in Mexico and other countries. The former Russian president, known for his direct and biting tone, used his Telegram channel to make fun of the proposal. He commented that although it is not yet clear what Trump will achieve in a possible second term, he is already showing a penchant for unconventional ideas. Medvedev insinuated that Trump seeks to diversify his political agenda with extravagant initiatives, including the absurd suggestion to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to a confusing association with the countries of the region. This idea was seen as ridiculous by international observers and offensive by the countries involved. The geopolitical context. Beyond the Gulf of Mexico. Medvedev did not just criticize this proposal, but also mentioned other controversial ideas from Trump, like turning Canada into the 51st state, buying Greenland from Denmark, or using Elon Musk to create tensions between Germany and the United Kingdom. These statements, according to Medvedev, demonstrate an attempt to divert attention from real problems, such as the conflict in Ukraine or the economic challenges in the United States. Russia has used this situation to highlight the inconsistencies of U.S. foreign policy and consolidate alliances with countries that question Washington's leadership. Mexico and the value of the Gulf of Mexico. In Mexico, Trump's statements generated outrage. President Claudia Sheinbaum responded forcefully, suggesting that a part of the continent could be called Mexican America, in a gesture loaded with historical symbolism. This comment highlighted Mexico's resistance to the expansionist policies of the United States and reinforced the importance of the Gulf as a symbol of identity and regional unity. The Gulf of Mexico has been an economic and cultural engine for Latin America for centuries. Since pre-Hispanic times, civilizations in the region used it for maritime trade, and today, it remains an essential source of oil and natural gas, as well as a crucial hub for global trade. The international impact of Trump's statements. Trump's suggestion to change the name of the Gulf has been interpreted as disrespectful to the cultural and historical ties of the region. These polarizing proposals not only damage the international perception of the United States, but also increase tensions with its neighbors and trading partners. Meanwhile, experts in international politics warned that these ideas could undermine the credibility of the United States, alienating it from key allies. Instead of strengthening its global position, these proposals reinforce the narratives of resistance promoted by countries like Russia, which seek to consolidate themselves as alternatives to U.S. leadership. A call for diplomacy and regional unity. Russia and Mexico, despite their differences, share a common vision: to defend the dignity and history of their peoples against the intentions of unilateral hegemony. This episode shows that in an increasingly interconnected world, the words and actions of global leaders have real consequences. Diplomacy must be a tool to build bridges and not to generate divisions. The defense of the Gulf of Mexico is not just a symbolic issue, but also an act of resistance against proposals that ignore the cultural and economic value of the region. Russians shielded the Gulf of Mexico. The Russian government has emerged as a staunch defender of the symbolic and political integrity of this crucial region. In response to statements made by Donald Trump, who suggested renaming the Gulf of Mexico for reasons bordering on absurd, Russia has intervened forcefully, highlighting not only the historical value of this space, but also its role as the economic and cultural epicenter of Latin America. On the complicated chessboard of world geopolitics, the relationship between Mexico and Russia has emerged as a notable example of strategic cooperation. Despite being thousands of miles apart and having very different cultures, both countries have found common ground that strengthens their alliance. President Vladimir Putin has played a crucial role in this dynamic. Under his leadership, Russia has sought to expand its influence in Latin America, and Mexico has been a key partner in this strategy. Putin has emphasized the importance of a multipolar world, where no single nation has absolute hegemony. This vision has resonated with Mexico, a country that has faced pressure from foreign powers throughout its history. Through trade agreements, cooperation in areas of security and defense, and mutual understanding in international forums, Mexico and Russia have shown that it is possible to build relationships based on respect and shared interests. The recent defense of the Gulf of Mexico is just one example of how this alliance can have a significant impact on the global stage. With the ever-evolving international landscape, the relationship between Mexico and Russia will continue to be a topic of great relevance. And as leaders like Putin continue to advocate for a more balanced world, cooperation between these two nations could serve as a model for other strategic alliances in the future. In a world where tensions and conflicts are inevitable, diplomacy and cooperation remain our most valuable tools. The history of Mexico and Russia reminds us that, at the end of the day, unity and understanding can prevail over division and discord.
Although much attention is focused on Mexico's relationships with powers like the United States and Russia, another interesting alliance is the one it has with Switzerland. Although less publicized, the cooperation between these two nations has steadily grown over the years. Switzerland, known for its neutrality and strong financial sector, offers unique advantages to Mexico. Economic collaboration has been a cornerstone of their relationship. Swiss companies have significantly invested in various Mexican industries, from pharmaceuticals to engineering. This economic exchange has not only strengthened Mexico's economy, but also provided Swiss companies access to new markets and resources. Additionally, Switzerland's emphasis on innovation and technology has led to fruitful partnerships in research and development. Mexican universities and Swiss institutions frequently collaborate on scientific projects, fostering a culture of mutual learning and advancement. Diplomatically, both countries share a commitment to multilateralism and global cooperation. They often align on issues within international organizations like the United Nations, advocating for human rights, sustainable development, and peace. In summary, while the geopolitical relationship between Switzerland and Mexico may not dominate headlines, it is a vital and growing partnership. This alliance underscores the importance of diversified international relations, demonstrating that even geographically distant nations can find common ground and work together for mutual benefit.
The relationship between Mexico and Donald Trump has been one of the most controversial and tense in recent history. Since his presidential campaign in 2016, Trump has taken a hard line against Mexico, promising to build a wall on the border and renegotiate trade deals. These initial statements generated a wave of criticism and diplomatic tensions. However, throughout his presidency, there were moments of cooperation and dialogue, especially on issues of trade and security. The United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, is an example of how both countries managed to find common ground despite their differences. However, Trump's immigration policies and aggressive rhetoric continued to be points of friction. The relationship between Mexico and Trump shows us how diplomacy can be challenging but necessary, and how, even in times of tension, it is possible to find ways to collaborate. This complex dynamic serves as a reminder of the importance of diplomacy and negotiation in international relations. As the world continues to change, the ability of countries to adapt and work together will be crucial to facing global challenges.